Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Great. Just want to talk to you about procrastination, putting stuff off. You know you need to get this stuff done, and you know you keep kicking that can down the road, right? Maybe it's a big task, or you got to learn something new, and that's going to burn some brain energy. And there's a ton of excuses as to why we do it. And we're all pretty guilty of that. And I'm going to share a few tips. I'm going to share a few tips here on helping you to burn through procrastination and actually get into getting stuff done. But before I do, I want to talk about what procrastination leads to. This is huge. This is a dream killer. It leads to a missed opportunity. A missed opportunity. So let's say you haven't done my pricing thing yet, okay? And you're still doing that semi-guess pricing, and the screws starting to tighten. We've started to feel what's going on in the economy right now really pull back, and you've got an opportunity to go in and get a job, and you haven't done the work, and now you're going to miss an opportunity to get work that you need to pay the bills, to pay the overhead, because you're afraid of losing money. It's too big of a project. It's too complex. But if you know how to dive into these little details, you'll be prepared. Okay. If you know what your numbers are, know what your costs are, if you know what your expenses are, we go through all of that stuff. I've been through that before. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse. For those of you, by the way, who have signed up and you're doing the online version, we're doing the live session here in just a few weeks. So you guys make sure I'll send you guys an email so that you're going to be getting all the updates and everything that we've done with this. Okay. So there's a few tips on procrastination. One of the ones that I love was by Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy was a business educator, a teacher, a trainer many years ago. And he told a story about he took on a big corporate account, and there were these executives, and they were having productivity issues. Well, guess what it boiled down to? They were procrastinating the big tasks. They kept putting them off, dealing with the everyday, Monday, day-to-day stuff, like you do, running these calls and everything else, and not getting your branding done, not getting your unique marketing position done, not getting your pricing done, not getting your strategy of the steering of the big ship because you're down underneath rowing the rowing the oars, just trying to keep things moving. But anyway, I don't want to beat that dead horse, but Brian Tracy taught a concept to these VIPs, these executives, what he called eat the frog. His philosophy was simple. If the worst thing that you have to do all day is eat a frog, why not come in early in the morning, grab that sucker, look him in the face, and just gulp him down and be done with it. Now the rest of the day is all downhill from there, right? So eating the frog is a really important one. So if you've got a big task and you want to keep putting it off, remember to eat the frog, gulp that sucker early on, get it over with, and you're going to feel so much better knowing that you don't have to, that's not waiting on you. That makes sense. Another tip is break your task into smaller steps. So if you've got a big project, I'm going to get this accomplished today. This one will be next week. This one will be the week after, or one each day, or whatever that is, or over throughout the day. Whatever depends on the size of your task. But if you'll break it up into smaller steps, it makes it a lot more palatable. Be specific on the goals. So you need to know exactly what you're going after, so that when you lay your plans out, you will arrive there. There's workouts I've talked about. I did Body for Life many years ago with Bill Phillips, and he had a program in 6 weeks, and he had it all broken down. You eat this every day, and you do these exercises every day. So you do that, and lo and behold, at the end of 6 weeks, your boy was flexing, right? Back in the day, it really made the end result that much more powerful because it was broken into segments that were palatable, and we had clear goals as to what it was we wanted to do. Okay, so eliminate distractions. It's kind of hard to do a strategy and everything else when all the service calls are coming, your technicians are running around, everything else. Some of this work, like your creative work, your planning, it needs to be done at a time when there's nobody around, and it needs to be done at a time when you have the best energy. For most of us, that's early in the morning. Sometimes not too early. Sometimes you got to get up and do your activity, whether it's a walk or a jog or whatever it is, to get the blood circulating. And you can come in, sit down. Everybody else is still asleep, maybe, or everybody else hasn't come into work, maybe, and you're there and you're getting the stuff done. So eliminating distractions is huge in having true progress on achieving your goals. Use the Pomodoro technique. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Pomodoro. And I never heard of that. I'd used it just naturally, but essentially it's like this: work for about 25 minutes and then get up and walk away. Reset, get your cup of coffee, do a little stretching and everything else. Give yourself about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Come back, pick up where you left off. Work another 25 minutes, right? Stephen Covey called this sharpening the saw. And he was talking about these two lumberjacks, and they would pull on these saws, but they would saw for a little bit and they would pull off, and then they would sharpen, they take a file and they sharpen all the saw blades. And then they go back and they saw for another little bit, and they pull off and they sharpen those saw blades. And they would cut through more trees than the guys that just kept cutting with a dull saw. Use this particular technique, work 25 minutes, pull back, take a little break, reset, right? And go back to it again and see if it doesn't really help on your productivity. Also, reward yourself. Once you have a goal in mind and it's over a period of time, go ahead and put something out there that you can celebrate, right? Take your family out to eat, take your team out to eat, do something to celebrate the accomplishment that you've had. And that will help on the way you feel about yourself, your team, your business, and everything else. There's a lot of emotional support that comes with that. But procrastination is a dream killer, and it will take away the opportunities if you're not prepared and you haven't gotten those things done. We'll get certain things done. We're getting ready. Let me plug this real quick. We're getting ready to go into the toughest economy that we've ever seen. And if you think branding your heating and air, your plumbing, or your electrical, or your roofing, or your company just as this really cool logo, heating and air, you haven't done anything more than stand out, which is a good first step. That used to be enough because it was just plenty of work. Now the work's pulling back. Big companies with these private investors, they've got all this money. They're having to cut back. They're losing their butts. And there's a lot of opportunity that's going to be had. But if you want to stand out, you need to be more than just Pete's Heating and Air, right? Or a really cool logo. You need to have a unique marketing position. If you want a strategy on that, I'll put a link in the below. We could talk about strategy in revamping your brand or revamping your unique marketing position and doing it in such a way that you can afford it. You're not out there, no knock to the big boys out there charging $30,000, $40,000 to do a total rebrand. I get it. It's really worth it. But they are branding based on standing out. They're not taking into account what we're doing, and we're strategizing based on what your future customer is going to respond to beyond just plumbing, just heating and air, just electrician. There's something at an emotional level that they need to hear so that they can see through the clutter and see you as their solution. And this is done all the time. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy. If you want to Google that, search, there's some book reviews on that. Get out of those competitive, shark-infested, bloody waters and get out into your blue ocean, where when you're fishing, you can catch the big fish because you're fishing with a different bait for a different fish, and that's what it's all about. So don't let procrastination rob you of the opportunities. You be prepared for those by getting this stuff done now. And that's not just the day-to-day stuff. That's preparing for the market, preparing for your marketing, preparing for your strategy, preparing for adding additional employees, putting these processes in place, all the stuff that you have to do. You got to get busy. T. Ramsey, HVAC Greatness. Talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.